In the 20th century, hundreds of different kinds of animals have disappeared from the wild. This is the story of one of them. A horse that's fast offers great possibilities to humans, but a horse that cannot be tamed offers nothing more than a challenge. The Assyrian Onager was one of the fastest of all horses. It could cover vast distances at terrific speed, and for thousands of years, the Onagers endured some of nature's harshest conditions with great success. It lived in the rough deserts throughout Syria, Arabia, Israel, and Iraq, and could survive on little more than dry grass. They were small horses, no more than a meter high at the shoulder and only weighing about 150 kilos. This makes their speed all the more remarkable. Herds of about 40 could maintain a steady 50 kilometers per hour with bursts of up to 80 by individuals. They needed to travel so fast to reach grazing lands and waterholes, but the Onagers were not just fast. They were wild, and they were clever too. The Onagers could never be tamed, so instead they became a sporting challenge. A royal hunt by King Ashurbanipal of Nineveh was depicted on a bas-relief dated as early as 650 BC. With arrows and spears, they wounded the young, the old, and the sick, and dogs brought them down. Meanwhile, the healthy members of the herd outran their pursuers. In 1850, 2,500 years later, Sir Austin Layard, the anthropologist who discovered this relief, witnessed a similar hunt by the Bedouin Arabs of this time who inhabited the region. Like their forebears, it was still partly for sport, and the 19th century hunters also ate the Onagers. They waited until they had drunk at a waterhole, so they were at their slowest, and then chased them using similar weapons to their ancestors, although now they also used ropes to lasso them. They took the young foals alive and reared them on milk in their tents to make their flesh especially tender. However, these hunts did not greatly affect the ancient population of onagers, who could tolerate even the worst challenges of nature. It was only when guns were brought to the hunt that changes really began. From 1914, the First World War brought soldiers to the region, heavily armed Turks, the Bedouin troops of Lawrence of Arabia, and wave upon wave of British military on the road to Damascus. In 1937, Otto Antonius, an authority on wild horses, wrote about how the Onagers' chief defense had been their speed. But even the swift Syrian Onager could not outrun a bullet or race against a motor car. In 1930, the German zoologist T. Aharoni observed that the Onager had retreated into the desert. Some Bedouin Arabs, he said, had not seen them for years. Quite probably the reason was that by that time there were none left to see. In 1927, a Syrian Onager was shot as it came for water at the Al-Gams oasis in North Arabia. It may have been the last of its kind in the wild. One remained in Vienna Zoo, but a Syrian Onager kept in captivity hardly deserved the name, and it died soon after. It seems that humans do not want to share this earth. We will tolerate animals only if they are stupid, tame, or slow.